Hello, good people. Glad to be back here again. Excited as always. As I mentioned before, is that this channel will be dedicated to just sharing health tips that can help us to improve our health and at least to, preventive in this is for informational purposes only, for educational purposes. So please, any information that you hear me sharing here, in order for you to check with your doctor to make sure that your doctor gives a check or gives an approval before you start practicing the information that I share here. So today we are going to talk about dehydration. Did you know that about 75% or even over of the world's population is chronically dehydrated? That's right. Many people are dehydrated. They are walking about around dehydrated, but they are not aware, and this affects so many people. When I say about 75%, that should be billions of people, or at least it affects billions of people. And many of us don't even realize it. Hey everyone, my name is Gladys Nyamboro and I am happy to welcome you back here to this channel where we share health tips to help one another. We learn from one another. If there's any topic that you love, that you would like me to share, I welcome you to feel free, comment on the chat, and we will be able to tackle it, find someone, maybe an expert in that area, to bring that person and share the knowledge that they have. So today we are going to dive into the topic of dehydration, and many people become dehydrated without knowing. And dehydration can occur when you are inside the house. It can also occur when you are outside the house. Now we wonder how can it, of course, outside we do understand if it's warm, if it's hot, you are going to be dehydrated. But then how does it happen in the house? One reason, especially for those countries that get extreme weathers, when you are inside the house, even if you are not outside, sometimes you can forget to drink water. Sometimes you may not feel the need to drink water because you are inside the house, especially during winter. But remember, our skin does perspire. We do lose a certain level or a certain amount of water. So in that sense, we are supposed to replenish the water that we lose. We are supposed to drink water because, as we know, a human being's body is at least 75% water. So if we have that amount of water in our body, if that's what our body is made of, that means we really need to hydrate ourselves. This is not meant for those people who have conditions like CHF, the chronic heart disease, who may be restricted on how much water they drink, of renal disease, and they are limited on how much amount of water that they can handle or that they can drink, so that they don't drink too much than their bodies can process. So as I was looking at this topic, I was even thinking of my own kids. Sometimes, you have to remind children to drink water. Sometimes they can drink other drinks and they think that they are well hydrated. But water is good because it does not have additives, just water in its natural state. I think it's a good thing. That's the best source of water for us to hydrate ourselves with. Now, unless your doctor has recommended other minerals to be added in your water that you drink, I will not be addressing that topic here. I'm just talking about natural water with no additives in it. So, so many people become dehydrated outside. As I said, we all know what it is. But even for people who work, when you are at work, sometimes even myself, I have to make that intentional reminder to remind myself to drink water. Because sometimes you may become very, very busy, and depending on what you do, that actually drinking water becomes secondary. But we should make it intentional that it's good to hydrate ourselves and put our health first. Because if we do not take care of ourselves, how are we going to take care of others? And one way that we can take care of ourselves is by drinking, by hydrating enough with water. When I say drinking, I purely mean just water. I don't mean anything else. Of course, there are other people who say you can get more hydration from other things, but today we are just talking about water. So disclaimer here, please confirm with your doctor how much water you can drink. I know some people say you can drink 8 bottles. Some people say 8 glasses. Some people say your weight divided by 2. Talk with your doctor and know what your doctor wants you to drink. You know, when they say your weight divided by 2, do they mean pounds? Do they mean kgs? I'm not going to give you the solution. Talk to your doctor to let you know what's the best. But for me, I'm going to say what I do. I weigh my pounds and I divide by 2, and that's the amount of water that I drink on a daily basis, especially if my routine is the same. Of course, when I am traveling, it may be different, or when I'm working, depending on what I'm doing, it may be a little bit different, but when I get back home, I make sure I replenish with whichever water I did not take in. That's the difference. I make sure I drink it because I have no issues getting it out after I've drank it. I hope you understand what I mean about getting it out. So water is very important, as we have seen, and we are supposed to keep ourselves. It's good even for the skin when you are hydrated. It's good for the internal organs when you are hydrated, because especially with the skin, if you do not drink enough water, the skin will start becoming like loose or wrinkled in a way because of lack of enough water. That way, especially one sign of dehydration for people is when you hold onto their skin, when you try to, when you pull on the skin, you can just grab the skin. That's really severe dehydration. You don't need to wait up to that level. When you see patients who are dehydrated, or even children especially, children lose water very fast. You see with their eyes become sunken. And this used to be very, very typical. I remember back home, originally I'm from Africa, I'm from Kenya, and I remember seeing children when they are sick, their eyes becoming sunken, due to lack of enough water, their skin becomes loose. When you hold it, you can literally pinch it up. Their mouth or their lips become very dry. This is typical even for grown people. If you are dehydrated, your lips will become dry. So those are like the obvious signs of dehydration. Now, when it reaches a point that when you go for a short call, or when you are going to pee, as some say in other countries, YouTube, I'm using these words because to help our population to understand, I'm talking to a global stage. So that's why I have to use these words. Some people say peeing, some people say urinating, some people say passing water, you know. So whichever language that you use, I hope you understand. When you reach the point that you are not passing enough water, you are not, when you go for a short call, it's almost non-existent or just a few drops or drips here and there. That's bad. That now it has reached the extreme. So it's very, very important to monitor to see how much water you drink. If you take care of elderly parents, they are very prone to be, dehydrated. That's why sometimes you might find elderly people having UTI, they are not sexually active, and you start wondering what is happening, what's happening. It's because of these reasons. So take care of the elderly people or the elderly population, elderly parents. If you're taking care of anybody who is older, who is maybe not able to get water for themselves, or those who have conditions like dementia, Alzheimer's, who forget to drink water, remind them. Or even our healthy parents, they don't have the desire to drink as much water as young people. It's good that we take care of them. We remind them to drink water because water is very important. And if they don't drink enough water, if they forget to drink enough water, they are likely to become sick. And when they get complications like UTIs, as I've said, treating it, giving them that, the antibiotics, and, you need to drink water so that, the medication can be processed by the body, and whatever is not supposed to be in the body to be gotten rid of, they need more water. You don't want to put them through IV treatment. just because they missed drinking regular water to stay healthy. So the treatment is good, but it's harsh on them. You know, imagine young children, if we keep them dehydrated, if they are not well hydrated, and then they end up getting these antibiotics, they are very strong for them, you know, for young children, or even for anybody. You become resistant if you keep on. And the problem with issues like UTIs, it has tendency to recur. You get treated again after some time, it recurs. Because if your issue is dehydration was the cause, if you don't solve that issue of dehydration and develop a pattern of hydrating yourself, just know that, you know, it will come back again. And if you keep on getting those antibiotics, at some point, you become resistant, you know, to the antibiotics. Now, what happens, God forbid, if you have a condition that requires those antibiotics? They will not work. Eh? They will not work. And how will they know they won't work? You are lucky if you are in a country where they do culture and sensitivity before they treat you. That way they culture your blood, or they culture even your urine to know what is going to work, what antibiotic is going to work before they even give it to you. You know, if you live in a place where once you go, you say the symptoms, they write for you an antibiotic and they give you, you might be given an antibiotic that you developed resistance long ago that is not going to work. So you take, you finish, you still have those symptoms, or they go away for a little bit, again, they come back. So let's take this serious when it comes to hydrating ourselves. Let's take lead on hydrating ourselves, making sure that we are drinking enough water. You know, we are drinking enough water. Climate plays a big role in dehydration, but it's not only climate, you know. We lose water mainly through sweating. We lose water through passing it out from our body in other different ways, but we can replenish that water. We need to replenish more than we lose in order that we may stay healthy. We all want to stay healthy. We don't want to walk around dehydrated, you know? You know, the sneaky part of dehydration is also that when you are dehydrated, you can also have some GI issues. That's the gastrointestinal issues, especially for children when they are dehydrated. They may have even abdominal discomfort. Some can even have, you know, diarrhea, and then you start wondering, what did they eat, you know? But the problem is, let's not assume that every time we are seeing these symptoms, that it's because we are dehydrated, because some conditions are very sneaky. They also present the same way, but they hide. It takes a while to know. So when you are well hydrated, when you don't have to deal with the dehydration issues, it's easy to identify, to say that, no, there is something wrong with me. At least you know that it's not a dehydration because you are well hydrated. Some people may be constipated if they are dehydrated. When they have not drunk enough water, they become constipated, you know. People have different ways of exhibiting dehydration. Of course, there are common symptoms that I've listed that we can see or experience and know that we are dehydrated. But some people may show more symptoms than the others. So as you have heard, another thing is that you might be very thirsty. You might feel very thirsty. Thirsty actually will be the first sign of dehydration. You feel like, oh, I feel my mouth is dry. I want to drink some water. You have that craving to drink water. Not meaning that everybody who drinks water is dehydrated. I've seen one of my kids just loves to drink water. The other one, it's not an option. You know, she drinks when she feels like. And then you have to remind her, it's time to hydrate yourself. And then now they started treat, you know, when they are more than one, they can also start competing, you know, saying, let's see who's going to finish her cup first. And sometimes we even have reward of us competing amongst ourselves to see who is going to finish their water. Of course, we cannot make them drink the much water that we drink or the much water that I drink. No, we allow them to drink what they can hold, what they feel is enough. And so far, it has been working well. Some people, as we said, can be fatigued. There are people when they are dehydrated, when they don't have enough water in the body, they just feel tired. They feel that some people feel headaches. They complain that I'm having some headaches maybe since yesterday that I cannot explain what it is. Are you stressed? No, I'm not. Did you knock your head somewhere? No, I'm not. But I just have this headache. And then they realize maybe they are either withdrawing from caffeine, and when they have a cup of tea or coffee, they are fine. For those who take caffeine every day, when they stop, all of a sudden they may experience such symptoms. But headache can also be a sign of dehydration. Fatigue, as I said, feeling tired can be one. Dry mouth can be another one. Some people may even feel dizzy when they are dehydrated. I know for me, I feel like I'm hurt in a way. That dizziness, kind of, you feel it, you can't explain it. Then when you take, a cup of glasses of water, you are fine. That's when you're like, oh, so I was dehydrated, How funny that is. So let's prevent those things in order to prevent other conditions that can happen because of excessive dehydration, or because of excessive loss of water from the body. So as you have heard, it's super important to stay on top of being hydrated. The hydration game must go on in order for us to stay healthy. As we always hear, prevention is better than cure. So let's try to prevent big conditions from happening from just not drinking enough water. Drinking water is basic. Let's do it together. And we can stay hydrated. Let's make it a habit to drink water regularly throughout the day. If you know you are going to do something where maybe it's going to be so busy for you to drink water, cluster drinking your water. Drink enough water in the morning. During your break, drink water. When you have a break lunchtime, drink enough water again. And I'm speaking this is specifically for the people who does the kind of work that requires you to be totally engaged, that even moving away, you are responsible. Your break is structured that you can only work a certain time because you have people you are taking care of. And this is not healthcare. It can be even in the food industry. It can be where you are working handling machines. You have to be there because, if you move and anything dangerous happens, you are held liable. So you can cluster drinking your water to be during your break. And I believe having bathroom break is a human right. It's a human right, sincerely. So let's hydrate ourselves. And if you have issue, maybe with not having bathroom break at your place of work, I think it's a conversation that you can have as long as it's reasonable, as long as it's reasonable. It's good to not to be afraid of hydrating yourself because you don't want to go, you're afraid you won't have time to go to the bathroom. So I hope that from now on, we are going to change our mentality in terms of hydration so that we can have healthy skin, healthy hair, healthy organs. Many organs are, surrounded by nice fluid. We need enough. We don't need to have our joints aching because we don't have enough synovial fluid in the joints. We need to have enough fluids in our body so that the body can make the fluids required. If we drink enough, then we have given enough to our body to naturally work on to produce the fluids that is needed to surround the joints. Some people complain of joint pains. When they are dehydrated, they are not drinking enough. They have certain pains on the joints, like the knees, they cannot explain. Then when they drink water, they realize, oh, where did the pain go? Without even taking a painkiller, So please check with your doctor to know that you are drinking a safe amount of water and hydrate yourself according to what your doctor advises you. But one thing that we can't go wrong saying is that hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. If you like this content, remember to subscribe. I know we have quite a few views. This is a new channel. This is the third video. We remind you again to subscribe if you would like to be notified when we share the same content again, or content of health tips. Studies have shown that consistently not drinking enough water can increase your risk of conditions, other diseases. As we said, damaging your kidneys, damaging your skin, damaging your hair. Do yourself justice and stay healthy. Thank you. God bless you. Looking forward to see you back again with another topic. Bye.